I remember that morning so clearly. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, like it's holding a secret. I was standing by the kitchen window with a cup of coffee that had already gone cold, thinking about my son, Daniel. He used to call me every morning before work just to check on me, just to say, "Mom, did you eat?" But lately, those calls had stopped. And the distance between us had grown in ways I couldn't explain. I kept telling myself it was normal. Children grow up, life gets busy, but a mother always feels when something isn't right. That afternoon, I heard a car pulling up outside. My heart lifted, hoping it was Daniel finally coming to see me. I wiped my hands and opened the door with a smile. He was standing there, but he wasn't alone. A young woman stood beside him, someone I had only seen once before. She smiled politely, but I could sense something tense in the air. They walked in, and for a moment, nobody spoke. Trying to break the awkward silence, I asked with a small laugh, "So, when's the big day? When are you two getting married?" She glanced at him, then looked straight at me and said quietly, "We got married yesterday." For a moment, everything inside me froze. My heart stopped. The room felt smaller. "Yesterday?" I whispered, almost unable to breathe. "My son got married, and I wasn't there." No invitation, no phone call, not even a simple message. I forced myself to smile and said, "Congratulations," even as my voice shook. I had dreamed of his wedding for years, helping him get ready, fixing his tie, dancing with him after the ceremony. But instead, I learned about it like a stranger, standing in my own kitchen, holding a cold cup of coffee. After they left, I sat alone at the table, staring at nothing. The house felt colder, emptier than ever. I walked into his old room, the room that still smelled faintly of his childhood. His baseball glove lay on the shelf, his graduation photo stood on the desk, and the old sneakers he refused to throw away were still tucked under the bed. On the wall, I saw a drawing he made in third grade, stick figures of him and me holding hands with the words, "Me and Mommy forever." I touched it gently, my eyes filling with tears. When he was little, he used to say, "Mom, when I get married, you'll be the first person I tell." And I believed him. I believed every word. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. He didn't call, and I didn't want to bother him. I baked his favorite apple cinnamon pie one evening, hoping maybe he'd show up, but he didn't. The pie went cold on the table, but my hope stayed warm, because that's what mothers do. They wait, even when waiting hurts. Months later, my phone rang. It was Daniel. His voice was hesitant, almost guilty. "Hey, Mom, I'm sorry I haven't been around. We talked about simple things, the weather, work, life, but not about the wedding. And I didn't ask." Sometimes silence protects the heart more than answers. Years passed, and one day he showed up again, this time holding a tiny baby in his arms. My granddaughter. The moment I held her, something inside me healed. She looked up at me with bright little eyes, and I felt love rush through my heart like sunlight through a dark room. Daniel looked at me then. Really looked at me. Maybe for the first time in years. His voice cracked as he said, "Mom, I should have told you. I was scared you'd be hurt." I took his hand and whispered, "I was hurt, honey, but I never stopped loving you." Because that's what mothers do. They love in silence. They forgive without being asked. And they wait, sometimes a lifetime, for their children to come home again. If you're listening to this story today and there's a distance between you and your mother, call her, visit her, tell her you love her. One day you'll look back and realize no one ever loved you as deeply, as quietly, as unconditionally as she did.